Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the Far From Pro podcast, NBA Finals edition. Joseph, the NBA Finals have started, and that means it's not NBA Finals, Conference Finals, just so we're all on the same page here. The Conference Finals week has started. Good week, honestly. You're able to focus on one game at a time. There's not too many playoff games going around. You're able to focus on only two series. I think it's exciting, kind of back-to-back games. But Joseph, before we dive into all the NBA title stock, which I know the folks want to hear about, please tell me, as we always start every episode, hot or not, what do you got this week?
I've got a hot one for you, and this kind of ties in two things that's kind of going on the mind right now. It's final season for me, not quite done with school yet, been a busy couple weeks. There's a new tool, Evan, that a lot of people are using to maybe, some would say cheat, some would say enhance your learning, some would say benefit your educational experience. It's called ChatGPT. Now, a lot of people have been using this to write essays for them, but a certain man by the name of Ja Morant sounds like he may have used it to issue an apology for his second gun offense in about as many weeks.
I knew you were going to go there, Joseph. I knew the second you said ChatGPT.
I respect the gall of him to, pull out whether or not it's actually true. The apology certainly sounds like it was typed into a computer program and spit right back at him. I mean, given the recent events, Evan, you cannot tell me that is a genuine, personal, absolute apology from Ja Morant. Completely despicable behavior going on. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, it's not illegal to have a gun. We've been over this before. It's Ja Morant. You're an NBA superstar.
Well, let's not dive too much into it, because we are going to have a whole segment where we both give our opinion on Ja Morant in this whole situation.
We'll get into that later. But ChatGPT is my hot because it can used in a variety of ways, whether it be helping your educational experience or crafting apology statements for NBA superstars.
Yep. And I'm reading the statement right here, Joseph, and you tell me, we're going to get into it later. We're going to get into it later because you know what? I don't want to get into it right now before we get into it. That's a great knot, by the way. He 100% used ChatGPT. There's proof of it. Some guy literally typed it in. I mean, it was clearly obvious. That's a great knot, Joseph. It is. Right when you said it, I knew we were going with it. I'm going to stay on the technology end of things, and we talked about this right before the pod started. We got an alert. The state of Montana is the first state the governor has passed a bill to ban TikTok. So here's my thing. I think this is America, and I think that we should be allowed to use whatever app we please, whatever it goes on. If you have a problem with kids being on TikTok, if you have a problem with people being on TikTok in general, I get the whole China spying on us. We don't know anything about this info. They're getting into our phones. I get that part. But when you start getting into the, TikTok's brainwashing our kids, it's made doing this and that. Look, it's the same thing for those dog owners who get their dogs neutered and spayed. First off, you're a cruel and unusual dog owner if you do that to your dog, because it's just so cruel and unusual. But if you just don't want to have to get your dog neutered, how about you just watch your dog and not let it just stick its finger inside everything? Same thing with your kid. Same thing with your kid on TikTok. If you don't want your kid on TikTok, how about you watch your kid and what they're consuming? If you don't want them to spend 4 hours scrolling through a dirty algorithm, don't let them on it. It's the same thing with the dog. If you don't want your dog, if you just want to let your dog not be neutered and then allow it to just roam the streets or whatever, just watch it so it doesn't bang anything, and then you won't have to worry about it having kids. It's like if you just watch your stuff.
That was a Colin Cowherd level analogy right there. You connected dogs getting their balls chopped off to kids getting TikTok banned in Montana. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible.
It's just the facts, Joseph. It's just how the situation's going right now. That's my hot or not for the week. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. I can get behind it. But you know what? I just that's how I feel right now, Joseph. How about you? Do you have another hot or not for us this week?
No. I think that'll cover it. TikTok, very entertaining app. Probably making my brain cells disappear one by one, but still, I mean, it's freedom of speech, and Montana banning it. You wouldn't expect Montana to be the one to ban it, to be honest.
And if you are going to be on TikTok, you might as well follow the Far From Pro podcast. We do have TikToks up there currently, so if you are going to be on the app where it's not banned, you might as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our Montana audience, that I'm sure we have a lot of,
out the door. Too bad. From Helena, Montana. I'm sorry. Or what is it? Oh, how do you say it? Did I say it right?
I think Helena. It's Helena. I don't know.
I don't know. Sean O'Malley's from there. That's all I know. All right. Let's go right in to conference finals, game 1. Nuggets, Lakers. For those who don't know, this is a Nuggets podcast. We are Nuggets fans.
I mean, this is a officially sponsored Nuggets podcast at this point.
However, Joseph, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a little nervous yesterday towards the end. They almost tied it up. They could have had a chance to tie it up with 20 seconds. Look.
Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad.
Here's my thing, though, also. I've been noticing a lot of people, instead of just giving the Nuggets their credit for what they deserve and what they did, they've been saying, oh, well, they had a couple lucky shots fall in the first half. Jokic had an unrealistic performance, I guess, from one person. I'm not going to say who, Stephen A. And then there was another situation where they started talking about how they felt the Lakers they found their vibe too late. They had different lineup changes. Look, how about we just stop and just give the Nuggets the credits they deserve?
Yep.
This was my whole problem with the Jokic and the MVP debate. This is why I didn't want him to not win. I'm going to tell you why. Because I knew this narrative was going to come out. They refused to give this guy credit. If Nikola Jokic had an Instagram, I've always said this. If he had an Instagram and was all over social media and was posting things and was going to parties and having fun, he would 1,000% be MVP this year. But he's not marketable. He doesn't care about the MVP. He doesn't care about the media. So when he wins, he just takes his award, puts it behind his his horse medal that he won the weekend before, and moves on with his day. What do you get from Embiid? You get an emotional video. You get a good thank you to the city of Philly. You get all the people talking about, MVP Embiid, who didn't even make it to the conference finals. You suck. And I'm not even going to get into Embiid because I could go on for hours.
I'm going to get into it.
About that trash bag. But what I'm really going to get into is the media and the people not giving Jokic and the Denver Nuggets their credit. They played a phenomenal game last night. First off, I had this argument with a friend. KCP is better than Klay Thompson. Let's just get that out there right now. Right now. Right now, KCP is better than Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is a fucking joke. Waste of oxygen. Terrible, terrible player. Same with Jordan Poole. I'm not even going to get into them because we're not talking about them. You know what? We are going to get into them. I'm done with these Warriors fans too, by the way. You paid $120 million to one of the worst guards in the NBA right now. 2 of them. Klay Thompson's getting $30 million a year. He sucks. Draymond Green cannot even play basketball. He was their second leading scorer one game. How do you expect to win when Draymond Green is scoring 20 points in your second amount? You have a 0% chance. Thirdly, have the Warriors not realized they don't have any big guys? Newsflash, they're 7-footers in the NBA, and they're good. So when you play them like Anthony Davis, and you have Kevin Looney guarding him, do you really think you have a chance? Do you really think, Anthony Davis, Kevin Looney, 7 games, let's hope for the best. These guys are a joke. The Warriors dynasty is over. They're done. They have to get rid of this old third core. Keep Wiggins. They already are looking to shop Wiseman, which was your second overall pick 2-3 years ago, by the way. Look, I don't mean to go off on the Warriors. I'm not a Warriors fan. I hate the Warriors, so that's why I'm doing this. I just think it's frustrating how the media doesn't want to give any credit to the Nuggets, but they want to talk about how the Warriors could still build a dynasty or how the Lakers could make a run. Fuck them. How about the goddamn Nuggets who are balling out, playing great basketball, playing defense, playing on both ends, have a deep roster, and have a legit chance to win the finals? It's ridiculous, Joseph. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. No, and it's just the whole narrative thing, Evan, right? Because when the Nuggets beat the Suns, it was, okay, what did the Suns do wrong? Mm-hmm. Monty Williams is out. He's fired because of that. Does KD work? By the way, KD had only played like 8 games before the playoffs, so before the series, does it even matter? Like, is CP3 too injury prone? Is Ayton wants out the door? Booker needs more help. That was all of the narrative when the Nuggets stomped the Suns in 6. I mean, let's get that out of the way. The Suns won 2 games, good for them. The rest of the series, the Nuggets dominated. We move away. First of all, the Timberwolves, even then, it was like, okay, what's wrong with the Timberwolves? Why couldn't they beat the Nuggets? You move to the Suns. What's wrong with the Suns? Why can't they beat the Nuggets? I have a feeling if the Nuggets win this series, it's going to be, is LeBron really that good? Is AD the problem? Do they have a new bench? Do they need a new coach? No, let's just sit for a while and just acknowledge that the Nuggets are a true championship contending team that is dominant in today's basketball. Sure, sometimes it looks a little goofy. Sure, they're not the biggest stars. Sure, it's Denver. It's a smaller market. Who cares? This is great for the league. This is showing that an international player who was drafted during a commercial in the second round comes into a team, wins 2 MVPs, isn't satisfied by 2 MVPs, by the way, gets robbed of his 3rd MVP, and says, you know what? I don't even care. Because you know what he's going to win? The finals MVP. I mean, let's get that out of the way. Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player in the world. And it's not even close, Evan. He's not the most athletically gifted. He's not the greatest shooter. He's not the greatest post player. He's not the greatest any of these things. When you put him together, he's the greatest basketball player in the world. The fact that he did not win MVP, and I said this back then, I said, Nikola Jokic is not going to win MVP. They're going to give it to Embiid. Embiid did not want to go against Jokic. Why? Because he knows he's going to get embarrassed. He knows he's going to get cooked. Now, a lot of talk. Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic. Great matchup, right? Here's my thing. Anthony Davis is a great player. Incredible talent. He's had his ups and downs, but he's a great player. The whole thing was AD's going to shut down Jokic. Jokic just didn't win the MVP because he can't play defense. And Embiid can play defense, so that's why Embiid got the MVP. I don't really care if Jokic can't play defense. When he's putting up 30, 20, and almost 20, it doesn't really matter. I saw all this too. Like, it was a duel between AD and Jokic. Sure, AD had 42 points. Sure, he played a really great game offensively. His defense certainly wasn't there. How do you let Jokic get that many rebounds? I think AD had, 3 rebounds, 3 assists? I mean, come on. Jokic absolutely worked him. He's an assist monster. He contributes to over half his team's points every game. He's the best basketball player in the world, and it's time we start talking about it, Evan.
I'm actually really glad you said that and brought that up because me and a friend of mine got into an argument last night because he said Giannis was better than him. And I called him a dumb dipshit because you have to understand something. I love Giannis too, and I think Giannis is a great player. And I actually think he's the second best player in the world. I'm not here to debate that, but when there's a human being literally averaging a triple-double in the NBA, not over a few games, not over 10, like over a season, multiple seasons now, 3 in a row, averaging a triple-double, then goes into the play. No, but here's my thing, and here's also what I said about, I'm not even talking about just like, I'm not even going to get into like how consistent he is. How about the fact that he's always playing? How much more does Jokic play compared to Embiid and Giannis? How much more? All the time. And he still puts up better numbers than them. Everyone, Embiid and Giannis can score points. Congrats. They're not better rebounders than you can be like, they're not better rebounders. They're just as good. The reason Jokic maybe is like 2 or 3 rebounds behind them is because he's too busy dropping dimes, getting assists too, which neither of them get, by the way.
He's bringing the ball up the floor.
And he's playing point guard. By the way, Like, this is what they don't get, dude. It's like, and you were talking about how Denver may not be the smallest market. For the NBA basketball, it is. For NBA basketball, the Denver Nuggets are a small market team. And for the NBA basketball, the Denver Nuggets aren't known to be a championship winning team. They're not known to be very marketable. They're not known to be very dominant. They're just not. They've had great players, AI, Melo, Dikembe. I'm not, Alex English, like great players that have played in the organization. But unfortunately, they have not been dominant championship winning organization ever. So,
No, but that changes this year. That's going to change. Like, that's what I expect to happen.
100%, and that's fine. So I do understand a little bit of the maybe not put them so much in the media. But I just want to know at what point and what does the media need to do for them to start talking about them? Do they need to straight up win a finals and just like have everyone just shut up then? If that's the case, that's the case. I can get behind that. But either way, there has to be some sort of recognition in the media for someone just to say, you know what? The Nuggets might just be better than everybody else. Straight up.
I totally. I mean, the disrespect that this team garnered before the playoffs is absolutely unreal. I think this was probably number 10 of teams that were talked about. People talked about the Bucks, the Suns, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Lakers, the Warriors, probably even like the Kings more. Like all the conversation was about these other teams. No one was talking about the Nuggets. For my sake and your sake, I hope that the Celtics win this series. If the Nuggets beat the Lakers, I hope the Celtics win the series. Because if the Nuggets beat the Heat for a championship, there will always be an asterisk there. Oh, they beat the Heat. They need to beat the Celtics. We need, as Nuggets fans, we need the Celtics to win this series, and we need the Nuggets to win the series. So that's a finals matchup. You can't dispute if they go in and beat the Celtics. They beat the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Suns. They beat KD, LeBron, and Jason Tatum in a run to the championship. That is what we need. Now, first things first, got to get through the Lakers. I think it happens. I said Nuggets in 5. I'm still going to stick with that. I think Game 2 is going to be absolutely key, though. They need to win Game 2 because you can't give the Lakers any hope going back into LA. I still don't think even if the Lakers win Game 2, they have a chance because they'd have to win in 7. I don't think the Lakers win in anything less than 7 because they're not winning 3 games in Denver. But the thing I see is that the talk is always about the team that the Nuggets are playing. Even today, it's the Lakers were pretty close to winning, or they're going to change the matchup, or they're going to fix this thing, or they played a really game and the Nuggets just got lucky. Let's not forget that the Lakers have gotten lucky this whole way. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Lakers were lucky to survive the Timberwolves, who the Nuggets skunked, by the way, or didn't skunk. They beat them in 5. They smoked them. The Lakers were very lucky to get past the Timberwolves. The Lakers get to play the Grizzlies, who are an absolute tire fire of an organization, which we'll talk about later. The Lakers get to play the aging Warriors, where they're not at their best. And yes, it's the Warriors. They don't have anyone to match up like you talked about earlier. Looney and Jokic are a big difference to go against Anthony Davis. I saw some pundit, I forget where it was, saying the Lakers are going to win because AD is going to defend Jokic, and LeBron's better than Jamal Murray, and then Austin Reeves is better than MPJ, and then, oh wait, what's after that? Oh, the Lakers just kind of fall off there. You talked about it. The Nuggets have a deep, deep roster that they don't even need to use because you said it again. Jokic is playing the entire game. He's bringing the ball up the court the entire time. I'm so excited for this narrative to change, Evan, when the Nuggets win the title, and I'm still confident that they're going to. It was both of our pre-postseason picks. Where's the narrative there if the Nuggets win the championship? Because then he's got 2 MVPs, should be 3. There's always going to be an asterisk by that one now because of how bad Embiid played in the playoffs. And a championship, not many guys can say that this early into their career, other than the all-time greats. Like Giannis can't even say that, So I'm just excited. There's a small list of guys that have won 2. I actually have it pulled up right here. I think there's 4 guys that are currently in the league that have won 2 MVPs: Jokic, Giannis, Curry, LeBron James. So, not saying he's top 10 all time yet, but I'm just saying there's an argument here if he continues this streak, and continues winning MVPs.
I like it, Joseph. Absolutely spitting on Game 1 of the conference finals. Game 1 for the Heat and Celtics are tonight. Going to be a good matchup. I'm excited for it. I love Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. I think the Celtics are a fun team to watch, even though their coaching's been a little this playoffs. I think this is going to be a fun series. I think Jimmy Butler's going to give it to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, show them what a real veteran baller looks like. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have a lot to prove to get back into the finals. They want revenge after last year losing to the Warriors.
For sure.
I think it's going to be a good-ass series. I'm excited to see who wins it. I don't really care who wins it. I think they're both good teams. Preferably I'd want the Celtics so the Nuggets can beat them. But I still think they're both good teams.
I love it.
The Heat are well coached. I'm actually really, really excited for this. I'm really, really excited.
No, I'm agreeing on there. It'll be fun. I love Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's been able to do something that I don't think many people thought. Like, he's bounced around all over the league, but he's been consistently a underdog story everywhere he goes. Sixers fumbled by letting him leave. The Heat have absolutely loved having him on the team. Eric Spoelstra is one of the most underrated. Like, we do not talk about Eric Spoelstra enough. What he's been able to do with this Heat roster after the dynasty ended. Again, I'm rooting for the Celtics because to beat the best, you gotta beat the best, and I think that gauntlet of going, Timberwolves, maybe not, but then Suns, Lakers, Celtics, like, that's going to be looked at as an all-time great run to the playoff championship. So that's what I'm rooting for. I would not be surprised if Butler just drops his nuts on the Celtics, though. I mean, I genuinely would not. We've seen him do it twice already. The way he just single-handedly beat the Bucks was incredible, and I don't doubt that he can't do that with the Celtics. If I had to throw out a prediction, I'd probably say Celtics in 6. I still think they're a much better team. When Jason Tatum turns it on, he turns it on. You can't beat the Celtics when Jason Tatum's putting up 50. It's going to be really tough to do. Yeah, I've got the Celtics, but I'm excited for the series. It's not necessarily the marquee matchup maybe people were hoping for with, maybe Bucks Celtics or Bucks, Sixers or whatever, but still a really great matchup for what we got. I think the storylines will be through the roof.
100%. Good little finals talk. Way to get the conference finals in there. We've been talking about it for the past 20 minutes or so. So I don't want to take up the folks too time. We got to get a little movement action in this podcast. Unfortunately, we are going to be staying in the NBA realm. Last night, NBA lottery. The results are in. And it's official.
Is it rigged, Evan? Is it rigged?
The Detroit Pistons have officially been effed over multiple years in a row now.
Oh, it's bad.
You want to talk about a team that got literally effed over more than anybody? It was 110% of the Detroit Pistons. One of the best odds to get the first overall pick, and you end up with the 5th. How brutal. In a draft like this, just the most brutal way to go out. A brutal, brutal pick. Now, you're going to get the 5th pick. You're going to get a phenomenal player. I'm not here to debate that. But when you have a draft where you have Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller as top 3 picks, it's hard to ignore the fact you're not going to get either of those 3 guys now because of your luck. Yes. That's just how it is.
It's what the lottery's for, Evan. I mean, it prevented them. Now, if you're in the Pistons front office, you're like, well, dang, we probably shouldn't have tanked. I mean, it was clear they're tanking. They're tanking. They want to get a high pick.
Hear me out. I had this idea. I heard someone say this, and I really thought about it today.
Mm-hmm.
The top 8 worst teams play in a lottery tournament at the end of the year. Okay? So it doesn't matter tanking. It all matters at the end of the year. These 8 teams are going to play in a lottery tournament. They're going to play for who gets the first pick. That's what they're playing for. Now, the reason that might be a sort of tough narrative is because when you start getting to the end of the year, there might be some teams who are in that 8, 9, 10 spot that might be trying to lose to get down to 8 because you're not going to get in the playoffs at 10, but you can get the first pick if you somehow get down to 8. So that's where the argument does kind of get in. But I would rather have that than have a bunch of teams try and fail all year long because they know that there's a good chance it's not going to happen. You see, there might be teams that sort of do that, but they still have to do that in a tournament. It doesn't matter if they do it in the regular season or not. So they might as well try or do some in the regular season. Come tournament time, could you imagine? I would, if my team was in that, I would cheer. If my team was in the lottery, I would cheer for them to watch. That's like another way. TV. That's another great tournament. Like if I'm the Detroit Pistons and I'm playing in this lottery tournament, I'm cheering for him. I'm like, I want this first pick. I want Wembanyama. Imagine being Wembanyama. You are just watching these teams compete for you in a tournament. You are watching NBA teams
would be awesome.
Literally compete just so they can have you on the roster. It's like the best way to invite a first overall pick. It's like, did you see how hard we played for you in that damn tournament?
That would be awesome. I mean, that would be must-see TV. Could you imagine, like, Pistons Hornets going down to the buzzer and someone sinks a half-court shot to get Wembanyama, and the crowd's just
pick in the 2023 NBA.
It's like the Patrick Beverley meme all over again, where he's throwing off his shirt in the crowd, like, we got Wembanyama.
That would be so, dude. I'll tell you what, though. I'm gonna be honest. I was on the golf course. I was on the 14 green, Victory Links. As I'm watching the draft, I'm holding it on my phone. I got Brandon Davis to the left of me. We're watching this, and the picks come up. We got Houston comes up. I see Wembanyama laughing. Okay, just
that was bad.
Clown Houston. I saw Jamar Smith tweeted at him. Saw that he.
I saw that.
I do respect that. I would do the same thing.
I respect that as well.
Picks go by or whatever. Then we get to number 2. There's the Hornets and the Spurs left. So there's a few things that are coming to mind here. First thing is thinking, man, Wembanyama and LaMelo. Ooh. Then I thought Wembanyama, but getting coached by Pop.
Yeah.
Ooh. Now, those who don't know, the last 2 first overall picks the Spurs had, David Robinson,
pretty good,
and Tim Duncan,
pretty good.
So
I'd say that's a quality resume from Pops, from old
for
Pops.
a young big man. I don't know if there's a better place in the league and a better coach you'd want to be coached by than getting picked by the Spurs. Just saying. So he got, to be honest, when it came to 1 and 2, I think Wembanyama was fine because I think he was thinking, well, I can go live in a nice, warm city in Charlotte, beautiful state, play with LaMelo Ball, Michael Jordan's previously owned team, make my own market in a small town, become the big name.
Be buds with Bryce Young.
Yeah, be buds with the new other first overall pick. Then you have, would have been if they got the first. Then you have essentially like another small market team, but with probably the best coach in the NBA right now, who has proven himself with other first overall draft pick big men, have shown his dominance. I mean, Wembanyama had a great scenario for the last 2 picks, so I think he was excited when he got Houston on the board. He's like, not good coaching, not good development. Players are all kind of ball hogs. Jalen Green, these guys are all ball heavy players. I'm not really going to be the main guy there. He loved the fact that he can get picked by Houston, and I liked it. I like that he showed I don't like being at my Houston. I like that.
Well, he knows his worth. I mean, it's this classic like know your worth, and he knows his worth. He's like, I am too good to go to Houston. I'm too good to pull an Anthony Davis and waste 6 years of my career in New Orleans. I'm too good to be a LeBron wasting my career in Cleveland. Now, will he have any success with the Spurs in the short term? No. I mean, that roster is atrocious. I mean, if you just take a look at that roster, it is bad news. But it's Pop, and he's passing on the torch here soon. And I think Wembanyama absolutely has a chance. Great fan base there for the Spurs. I think they absolutely have a chance to kind of rekindle some of that flame they had. I know the former Spurs players are totally in on it. They've had a history of foreign players that do really well. So I'm excited for the guy. The question is, what is the expectation for him? Because a lot of people are saying this is the most hyped prospect, maybe even more than LeBron. Not more than LeBron. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I mean, LeBron was expected to be a Hall of Famer when he was 15 years old. I mean, this guy was having professional ESPN crews at every high school game. So the expectation isn't there. You could probably say it's more than Zion. I don't, but like, in your opinion, what's the ceiling here? Because if he doesn't like win championships, win MVPs, is it a disappointment? Like, let's say Scoot Henderson goes on to be a Hall of Famer and Wembanyama's not. I mean, how big of a disappointment would that be?
Well, it's funny you brought up Scoot Henderson. I was just telling a buddy this today. I think because those are obviously the two biggest picks, two best players in this draft. And here's what I say about those two. I think Victor has a higher ceiling than Scoot, but I think Victor also has a lower floor than Scoot. I think Scoot is a legit freak athlete who plays phenomenal basketball. He's smart with the ball. He can pass. He can rebound. He can play defense. He's so freaky athletic. It literally hurts my feelings how athletic he is. He is a complete freak of nature. I have complete faith that Scoot's going to be a great player, and he has high expectations, but he's gonna live up to them, and I think he's gonna be really, really good. Victor, here's my thing, and I think everyone else in the world has the exact same problem. Injuries is number one. Staying healthy. He's a very skinny guy for his size, for his frame.
Yep.
Especially big men in general, just staying healthy is very hard to do in the NBA. So that's the number one concern. When you talk about what would consider his career to be a failure, here's my opinion. I think it is championships and MVPs. Because here's the thing. This is where he also kind of got screwed over. He's following in the footsteps of Timmy D. Because Timmy D followed in the footsteps of David Robinson and showed out and became
that
a Hall of
expectation's
Famer
going to be there.
and one of the greatest power forwards and centers to ever play the game, literally. So, to me, if Victor doesn't do that, essentially come in, fill that role, be the number one big guy, be one of the best centers in the league, try and bring your teams for championship runs, win MVPs, get Defensive Player of the Years with your size and blocks, seriously, I would say it's a failure. Because not only do you have unbelievably high expectations, you have teams who are watering at the mouth to get you with the first overall pick, teams who would devote everything to be towards you. If you don't come in there and help win championships, if you don't come in and try and get MVPs and be the best player in the league, yeah, it would be sort of a failure. I mean, if he's just another average Joe and go, I didn't mean Joe. I didn't mean to go there, Joe. But if you just want to be another average dude out there, it is a failure. You have these high expectations, and unfortunately, you have big shoes to fill coming in behind Timmy D and David. If you don't show up as the 4 or 5 in that team, you're going to get let know because the other 2 first overalls that did. They showed up. They won championships. They got trophies. I mean, you need to do that. So I would say he's got high expectations. Unfortunately for him, there is pressure. But he doesn't seem like he folds under pressure. He doesn't seem like it gets to his head. So I'm excited to see how he does. But yeah, I think there's
he doesn't look scared at all. No. Okay, this will be a hard transition. I think it'd be really smart of the Grizzlies to trade up and draft Brandon Miller. You know, given their track record of kind of this
sick son of a bitch. You went there.
Anyway, let's dive into Ja. I don't want to go too long on this because we've already been going. I know you have some thoughts. I've already gave mine. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I just want to say this. JJ Redick should be absolutely sick to his stomach. I am. To think what he did and what he said on First Take today was okay, and no one stopped him, no one said what he said was ridiculous, is crazy. He literally said, I didn't see him break the law. So let me ask you something, Joe. You can answer this for JJ because he's not here.
We can call him up.
Yeah, I'll give him a ring. Let's say Ja Morant and his boys use that gun to kill an innocent person. Let's just say. Because that's what guns are used for. When you hang around guns and you keep them in your hand and your waistband and you threaten people with it, it's going to lead to something. So if Ja Morant and his boys kill someone with that gun, now what? Are you going to say, well, he broke the law, but I mean, he's only 23. That was another thing. He's only 23 years old.
Only 23?
He's young. He doesn't know.
I'm 20. I'm 20. Even if I was living that lifestyle, which clearly I'm not. But even if I was, if I had a gun on me and my buddy rolls up in the IG live, I'm not pulling it out Evan,
flex.
I'm
He's
not.
flexing
I'm
it,
not
bro.
flexing it to the camera.
Like flexing it. It's like,
And I'm 20. I'm not 23. You're not 23. I mean,
it's just
23 is not that young.
But
This
it's
is not a
even that.
16-year-old.
It's really not even that. What it is these dumbasses like JJ Redick who even give him the okay, even the littlest of leeway to think that this is okay. It's not. It's because this isn't his first time doing it. It's been one thing if this was his first time doing it, which we already dealt with. This is his fourth incident in the past year. He's got the whole back at the finish line back summer with that one worker, the kid who showed up at his pickup game that he threatened, the first gun incident, now the second gun incident.
Wild. It's just wild.
If this guy doesn't get suspended for minimum half an NBA season, I have no words. This is absolutely ridiculous. Because you're right. He is 23 years old. He not only should he know better, but you just signed a $200 million contract, which, by the way, you're not even going to get the $200 million of because you didn't make an All-NBA because you were too busy signing guns. So he had a $237 million contract. Now it's down to $185 because he didn't make an All-NBA because he was too busy doing what he's doing. My whole issue is the media and the people allowing him to do this. He needs to be punished severely for these actions. Severely. I'm talking suspension, without pay, not allowed to be with the team, no media coverage, nothing. He needs to go off the face of the earth and shown that no one will care about you if you don't know how to act and you don't ball. No one will care about you.
Great talent, but he's not good enough to where this is worth it for the Grizzlies. They're literally a better team without him, Evan. Statistically, they're a better team without Ja. Now, I know they're not as talented without him. I know he has the chance to be a superstar, Hall of Fame level player if he lives up to his potential. But they right now are a better team. It is not worth it. It would be one thing if Nikola Jokic and his Russian brothers were running out, killing guys on the street. It'd be like, oh, he's pretty good at basketball. The Nuggets are in a finals race here, 2 MVPs. Ja hasn't reached that level. He hasn't even earned our respect on the court. He cannot expect to earn our respect in that level of his life. So absolutely, I'm 100% with you there. It's gotten out of control. The Memphis Grizzlies PR team in absolute shambles. That should have been my not, because this whole thing, the Dillon Brooks thing, losing to the Lakers in 6 games and getting destroyed in the first round of the playoffs, just a horrible year for Memphis. I hope they really look at their roster, really look at their team and say, who do we want to be around here? Because you're not winning a championship when Ja's spending more time, filming IG Live. The IG Live is just so stupid to me, bro. It's so easy. Just don't do it. Even if you have a gun, don't do IG Live. Someone's going to see it.
I don't even get it. It's like, why? Why? Why do you even go on Instagram Live? What the, why? I don't even get, I literally in my mind, I guess you want to show off that bad? It's the dumbest, it's so stupid. Everything about this whole situation is dumb. It's a waste. And like I said, he needs to be severely, severely punished. That's the only way to show we can't allow this to happen. Adam Silver needs to step in and say, F this, you're being suspended, no pay, stay away from the team. This is unacceptable. 2 times in 1 year. It's absolutely ridiculous, Joseph. It's ridiculous.
I agree. All right, we've gone on that long enough. Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
One last thing, quick little PGA Championship this weekend. I just want to say shout out to the players. They got a tough course this weekend, tough track. Not the longest track, but it's tough. It's not an easy one. Not only that, another live in PGA golf combination with the major coming out. I'm just going to say for the people, I got 3 guys to keep an eye on. I got Brooks Koepka, number 1. Playing phenomenal live golf tournaments, did great in the past major at the Masters. I think he's been playing great golf, and I hope to see him well in the top 20 today. Jason Day, who has just won the AT&T Byron Nelson last week. Phenomenal player. He's been playing really, really, really good recently. I have him going in my top 20. And to top it all off, I know people hate this guy right now, but Patrick Cantlay. Slow golfer, I agree. But he's been playing unbelievable golf, and I seriously think he can end up in the top 20 this week. So just want to put that out there for the golf world people.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got. Anything else you got?
No, sir. Appreciate everyone for listening this week. Thanks for tuning in. And that's it for you.
Awesome. Peace.